So we're talking about Microsoft Muse AI. So it's basically a new technology that can learn how a video game works just by watching people play it. The controller inputs and also what's happening on screen.
Nice. Okay.
So that's just the data collection side. So Microsoft had this game called Bleed Something.
Okay.
So basically they had a bunch of gamers play this 4 versus 4 game, a multiplayer game. And this game was played online. And with their consent, they used all of the data that they gathered from essentially this gaming experiment, and they fed it to an AGI model. This was equivalent to 7 years worth of data collection. Welcome back, everybody, to Cyber Digest. Joining me today is my co-host,
Mr. Kgotso Wandile. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. I missed you guys. I hope you guys missed us too. Please introduce yourself as well. We don't remember who you are.
Oh yeah, of course, man. I could be an AI agent.
For all we know.
Yeah, okay. Joining Kgotso is, of course, Wandile, and we are at the place where we essentially decode the hazy digital matrix for you. We know it gets kind of hazy and quite complicated, but we are your expert guides leading you through the very complicated tech galaxy.
And oh man, with the AI innovations that are constantly happening and taking place, it's kind of hard to keep up ourselves.
It is.
So I'm kind of glad that we have this platform to continuously keep you guys informed on a week-to-week basis, our live streams as well, which you guys have to tap into. Please tap into those as well. But this week there was so much. I think we won't even be able to cover everything because just before we started rolling cameras, like we spent about an hour and a half just discussing all these different tech products, softwares, AIs, things that we've been experimenting with this past week and discovering. And it's actually so much. And I think had it not been for this platform, I don't think I'd be experimenting as much as I have been these past couple of weeks. So I'm really grateful for this platform, I must say.
Myself too, man. There is sometimes this frustration of trying to learn so much and then it's a new thing every day, and you're trying to keep up, but it is worthwhile and it's exciting actually. So yeah, man, it's quite an experience, but so let's get into it.
Let's get into it, right? Indeed. So the first thing I wanted to cover, right? I think you guys might have seen this, maybe not, I don't know. There's a new robot that's come out, and I know we've seen robots from Elon Musk's Tesla. We've seen robots from a couple of companies.
Yeah.
But nothing has really stood out to me as much as this one. And I wouldn't say it was on the functionality side, but more so on the aesthetic side. This robot looks amazing. So it's from a company called Figure, and they've released a new Helix Robots. And I kind of want us to just go through that video and just sort of live react to all the stuff that it's doing. So essentially, it's a new robot, and this particular video, they tested it in a sort of like a kitchen environment, right? Okay. And they gave it like like groceries that they've never actually seen before, and they asked it to sort of pack it in the right space between a kitchen fridge, a fruit basket, and a cabinet and a drawer. So yeah, I don't know if you can see that video yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's saying here, introducing Helix. There's a human that's coming in with, like a shopping bag. And he's basically put this bag in front of these two robots. And I think before we get into the technicalities of everything, what I really like about this company is how cool they made these robots look.
Oh yeah, man, even the ad itself, the robots do actually look cool.
They look pretty dope. They look futuristic, the color palette of it all. I don't know if it's the color grading of the actual video or how the robots actually look, but I think
we really are kind of zoning in on just quote unquote perfecting AI robotics. Because there was always that problem over the years of robots kind of understanding context. And so, they'd approach a specific problem or an object, and because there's so many different possibilities, it would, in a way, it would be too complex for it. It wouldn't know where to start, where to begin. So, for instance, if you see a tree log, like a cut tree log, you're a person, so you can maybe interpret that as maybe a chair that you could possibly sit on.
Yeah.
But a robot wouldn't. It just sees essentially a tree. But now we're getting to a point where robots are kind of beginning to understand more and more and able to categorize more and more. So
they have like a lot more context essentially.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting, man.
Yeah. So So essentially, just to dive into the technicalities of this video, first of all, I think it was quite impressive. Even though they were moving quite slow, makes them look like you can actually see them sort of reasoning and processing. But what I also liked is the fact that they're able to interact with one another. When one robot hands the other something, it like looks up at the other robots.
That's incredible. The fact that it's even understanding that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
It's slow, but even just the hand movements are it's kind of
quite impressive.
Yeah, it's a bit seamless also. Slow but seamless. Like, it's pretty impressive. Even the hands. Wow.
Yeah. So this was released, or rather announced, last week, Thursday. So about a week ago, on the 20th of February, 2025.
Okay.
And essentially how they describe it is a vision language action model. So you mentioned that before, a lot of these robots were they were trained and understanding a whole lot of data.
Yeah.
So the approach that this company Figure took to train these Helix robots is actually kind of different.
Okay.
So they didn't necessarily give it a lot of data. They gave it sort of grouped data. So it understands the concept of what fruits are and where fruits should stay within a kitchen.
Okay.
So it understands fruits and apples would be associated with one another. But if I give this robot an orange, it might have never seen an orange before in its robotic life, right? It might not have ever seen an orange in its robotic life, but it understands that it's grouped within the field of fruit. So it's able to put it into the fruit basket, even though it's never seen an orange before.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of interesting, because if you consider the fact that all these robots that have previously been built and currently being worked on, they've constantly been built, or they constantly are being built on like a large data set, which takes a lot of energy, a lot of time, and a lot of money to be able to train them. But this one, they've grouped it up, and essentially while they're like categorizing this vision language action model, VLA for short, so I'll just use that from this point on. Essentially, they were training them with mountains of data and they didn't train them on mountains of data. And essentially, they grouped it into two different systems. So system 2, right, is the planner, the strategist, the intelligent one, the brain. So it's an AI that uses this VLM, not a VLA, but VLM, which is vision language model, right? And has a great understanding of what language is. Okay. So through the instruction of a human telling it that this is an orange, this is a fruit, pack it away. It understands that, okay, an orange is associated with an apple and a banana, I'm going to put it in the same place. Simply through a human explaining to it, not off of trained data. So that's the second system. And it kind of gets a good understanding of what the task is. And then the first one, system 1, is the quick reflexes and real-time control. I don't know how good this one is, because you can see in the video like how slow it's kind of moving with the hands. But all of the natural, grip of the objects, the movement of, all the body parts, all of that it falls under system 2, or system 1 rather. And it makes sure that all these movements are precise. And essentially it makes about 200 adjustments every single second within the robot. And I think that's quite impressive.
It is incredible, man. Jeez. Oh, wow. So are they going to be available in the market, do you think, or what? Those prototypes, or
I think currently they might be under prototypes. I can definitely fact check that. But I believe that their intention is to put them out into the market to be able to help people out in their home. And I think it'll be a really cool innovation. But I can't help but remember iRobot every single time.
Black Mirror, man.
And Black Mirror.
Dude, because it was just a few weeks back where NVIDIA at CES had announced their own robots.
Yes.
And software that will be essentially will be the shell for these robots. Meta also just announced last week, well, not last week, but 2 weeks ago, that they also working on humanoid robots. So it's crazy. These companies are essentially pushing to replace us.
I wouldn't say replace us. Maybe eventually, yes. But this is something I think as AI advances and as these robotics advance, I'm going to constantly emphasize that I don't think we're moving into the times of WALL-E. I don't know if you remember the movie WALL-E. I don't think we're going to move into those times anytime soon, I would like to believe. I'm only going to start getting worried when AGI starts making rapid advancements.
Yo, guys, what do you guys think? I mean, we have deep research, which will do your research for you. We have DALL-E that will essentially draw for you. We have Sora that will literally generate videos for you. We have humanoid robots that will handle any task for you. We have agents that will do anything for you that requires the internet or any kind of digital task. Are we not being replaced essentially? Like,
it's
it feels
happening
like
right in front of our eyes.
it's crazy.
So what do you think is going to happen? Do you think that the robots are just going to do every single thing that we do from a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not now within the exact immediate term, but it does look, feel, and sound like within the next 15 years or so, life is going to look a lot different than what it is today.
Yes. Okay. So okay. Before this, we were experimenting with something. We'll speak about that later.
Okay.
But even what we're doing now, low-key can be replaced
It can.
as podcasting.
And the crazy thing is, when we were kind of listening to it, it was engaging. Like, it felt interesting.
Yeah.
And
let's touch on that one later, because that one, yeah, it's still blowing my mind today. I think because I only started playing around with it yesterday.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy. Let's keep that for them. We actually haven't touched on our tech spotlights.
Yeah.
I want to know what your tech spotlight of the week is.
Tech spotlights is actually so I recently started using ChatGPT's operator. So that's essentially their AI agent.
Mm-hmm.
And man, oh man, what a neat tool. Not perfect, it's a bit slow, very imperfect, but
quite impressive nonetheless.
Exciting. So ChatGPT operator is essentially an AI agent that can perform. It's basically a web-based assistant.
Mm-hmm.
So it can perform tasks for you that also just require the web. So you can ask it things like, can you maybe book me tickets or find me reviews for a specific movie or compare prices of something. I was playing around with it, and I was telling it to basically extract data from an analytics report and input it into a Google spreadsheet.
Okay.
And it was doing that.
So you saw it actually doing it live.
Yeah. So
like
you can
inputting the data.
You can literally, like, you can see it in real time, and you can also just take control. So, but you also, of course, need to give it access and permissions to, of course, access.
To log in and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's quite slow. You can see the cursor moving slow, but just us getting there, that is incredible.
And I mean, in comparison to how long it would have taken you or any other human being, do you think it's moving at the same pace or faster or slower? Because I mean, with a human being inputting all that data, it's going to require us to jump from document to document, website to website, reason, think, understand, take a bathroom break.
Yeah,
all these little things in between.
Yeah, and with us humans, we have this tendency sometimes of not being as precise. I mean, granted, AI isn't perfect at all, but there is a certain level of precision. And so, being a person, if you anybody who will do any sort of kind of admin knows this, when you're kind of inputting data from a specific source into a specific format of maybe a spreadsheet or a doc, you know how it is having to scan through the document, and you're trying to make sure if you're actually looking at the right thing. And then
checking, triple checking.
Yeah, and you looking at the rows, the columns, and the cells. You don't know if you, especially if it's just a large amount of data. And so this kind of narrows it down for you. I mean, you can just have another window open, and on the other window, it's essentially just putting in the data that you're supposed to be putting in, scanning through all that data. Literally.
Personally, I hate spreadsheets. So wait, just break it down for me. What can it do for me? So the only thing that I normally use a spreadsheet for is for videos like this podcast. I'll sort of like allocate a date to it, an episode name, maybe put the editor's name and the link to the video, right?
Yeah.
How could it make that process simpler for me?
Okay, repeat that.
Okay. So I normally put the episode name of the show. It'll be Cyber Digest episode 4. I'll put the name of the show, Cyber Digest. I'll put whoever shot the show, the name of that person. I'll put the editor's name, and I'll put the link to the edited video or to the raw files. How would it be able to process that data for me? Oh,
I mean, that would be quite easy. I mean, especially a lot of with these AI tools, AI virtual assistant, don't even know what to call them anymore. But I think the biggest key is just in your prompt. So with ChatGPT operator, as long as it has the permission. So for instance, it kept on asking, so it was telling me like it doesn't have permission to edit the document because it's view only. Okay. So I had to log in, change the permissions to editor. So now it can edit the document. And from there, it's kind of simple language because it's reading simple text. Very simple text. I mean, the times when AI starts to get overwhelmed when it's a lot of information. So with you, it's not even information that it's not even something that is.
It's not complex.
Yeah, it's not information in a sense. It's basically things that are just put there as, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's not something. It's not a large amount of information that needs to be understood. It doesn't have context. It doesn't have so much data inside it. No, it's just it's basically admin. You're essentially doing the admin of kind of keeping everything organized into these. So that's a simple task for it.
So what were you using it for? That was like, so you're saying you needed to get information from multiple sides, right?
Yeah, so I'd have, of course, I'd have an analytics report. So this analytics report has data information on social media analytics. So all the numbers, every metric you could possibly think of related to social media, which having to do with Instagram, YouTube, yada, yada, yada. So I have to put that onto a spreadsheet. And that spreadsheet essentially becomes my social media report.
Okay.
Where I track all the data and notice any patterns, notice any changes. So I told it to...
Jeez, you were doing all of that manually before.
My brother.
Yuck.
We're in 2025 and we still have to... Yeah, so essentially I told it to please extract data from the analytics report and transfer it into the spreadsheet.
Okay.
So in your prompt, you just have to make sure that, first of all, it's inputting the correct dates, all the columns are correct. So you tell it to, as some poets say, poets kind of...
In his absence?
Yeah. Poets kind of are sometimes. So he's like, sometimes you gotta threaten your AI. I'm like, whoa.
Damn.
Yeah, he's... Yo.
So like threaten it with death.
Yeah, sometimes you need to keep your AI in...
Keep it in check. Keep your AI in check.
Yeah, so sometimes you need to be stern with your AI. So you tell it, please triple check that there's no discrepancies, everything aligns well. So it's as simple as that. And then you just kind of essentially check if everything is correct. And yeah, listen, it's a start.
How much time do you think that's going to take away from, because I'm assuming it took a lot of time to do before.
Yeah.
How much time are you getting back from using this tool?
I'm essentially getting, listen, I am the way that I am. And so it should be taking me an hour and a half. But it did take me longer. Damn. Yeah, I hope the boss doesn't see it. This is bad. But now I'm essentially spending 5 minutes just writing a prompt.
Dude.
And I don't even have to write that. I just write the prompt once and I save that agent.
So it does that repetitive task every week?
Yes, sir.
So what have you assigned it to, like constantly check on the updated document every week? Maybe like on the same day every week?
Yeah, so for now, it's a simple thing of kind of commanding it to carry out this task. Yeah, so right now, I haven't kind of assigned it that duty like on a weekly basis, but it's a start. So I've created the agent and it's specialized in that.
Operator. I definitely need to try this out. I think outside of work, I think there's a lot of places where I think it could help out. And I think, let's not touch on that yet.
It meant like simple things like just having a PA.
Yeah.
Like booking flights, booking meetings.
And that's where agents are going to take. Those people's jobs are going to leave. Admin clerks, PAs, the menial tasks, or what previously wasn't as menial, but now is very menial.
It's crazy.
Those jobs are going. Graphic designers, I'm afraid, their time is also knocking. And I mean, their fight as graphic designers was the fact that they're creative and AI is not. But
yeah, and that's the thing. That's where I get sensitive about the subject when we kind of move into the realm of the creative part. Creativity is kind of this intrinsic part of just a human, and I don't think AI replicates it, but it doesn't like produce
the same results.
Yeah, it doesn't produce creativity. it can kind of copy and paste something and give off the impression of creativity, but
it's not the real thing.
hey man, but what does it matter if
That's
it's
my
fooling
chat.
somebody? Like if
That's
I
my
look at
chat.
it, if I look at something and I'm genuinely impressed and it looks great,
whether it was AI or not.
yeah. So
And my thing is, you were saying that it's gonna give you like an hour and a half of your time back, if not more.
yeah,
That's what I think is great about AI. The fact that it's going to give people their time back, but until what point? Until we have all our time back, no time for work because our work is being done for us.
And now we're just on couches giving.
That's the Wall-E scenario. That's the Wall-E
I don't know
dystopia
if
that
you've
I'm
watched,
talking about.
it's like it's Jesus, man. So it's on Netflix. Yeah, it's like a short animated series. It's
I know
produced
exactly what you're talking
by my
about.
favorite director, David Fincher. Well, one with Love, Death, Robots.
Love, Death, and Robots. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the episodes, humanity is just so used to having these little humanoids everywhere.
Yeah.
And now they're not even on Earth anymore. If I remember, they're on like a space shuttle out of Earth. They've left Earth, but everybody's just so big, and they're on these hovering kind of wheelchair-like things, and they're so big they can't
do anything. The robots do everything for them.
Everything.
Yeah.
That's what I feel will happen.
That's the Wall-E dystopian world.
In 50
That's
years.
fun.
In 50 years.
I think that's us.
I'm putting money on this, by the way. I don't know if there's a stock.
50 years.
50 years. I'm investing in the demise of you. Okay, no, I'm joking.
As for investing in it, that's crazy.
I joke,
The man said, I'm investing in the demise of human race.
Listen, hopefully Musk will save us.
This is on a record. No, I'm not waiting for that man to save us. But that's what I'm saying. Like, at what point? Because, guys, I think this is what everyone has been saying. That's what all these dystopian movies have been about.
Yeah, man.
AI is actually, it has the potential to take over everything.
And now it's here.
To the point where, it's here.
Now there's no chiga, there's no going back.
And it's going to see us as obsolete, which eventually we actually will be. Because it's just, guys, I'm of the understanding or of the belief that AI is supposed to just make our lives easier and give us our time back to live life and enjoy life. But if there's nothing worth living for or worth enjoying, what was the point of all of it?
We and it's easy for us right now to say, well, I have an economics degree, accounting degree, or marketing degree, or whatever. So, the gap in which AI has of just putting a lot of context into certain information or data and kind of finding ways or solutions in a very creative way, which humans do. We problem solve, and because we have so much, I don't know, man, we have so much creativity, but also just this larger context of just the way we understand things. So a lot of that is diminishing because AI is going to gain that. I mean, AI is learning from us.
And I think we're also, in us experimenting and using it in our daily work, I think we're also low-key gaining dependence on it.
Yeah.
And as AI is going to gain what you were saying, that creativity, that spin on the way that we do things as humans, we're not exercising it as much as before.
What happens when tomorrow, Sam Altman announces, I don't know, they've achieved a new kind of AI simply because of the massive amounts of data set they've been collecting from humans, have kind of burst or invented this new kind of thing that's almost like creativity in humans, and now
they're gonna call it creative AI.
Whoa.
It's a new innovation in AI robots.
Yo, that's kind of hard though.
Creative AI.
Yo,
I need to patent that.
Yo, but yeah, but like, we can say right now, well, nobody can analyze the market like me. Nobody can put together.
They will be able to eventually.
Nobody can direct this like me. Nobody can put this together like me. But I mean, it's learning from us. Like, it's essentially learning from us. I mean, how much of AI do you give? How much do you give to AI every day in terms of just data? And that's
a great question.
And that's stuff on like your day-to-day kind of thing.
Yeah, before we even think of ChatGPT or anything, that's Instagram. That's data that you are giving to train meta models.
You guys need to be honest, bro. Like, you be giving a lot of these AI tools a lot of information.
A whole lot of it.
Especially a lot of company information. Yo, dude.
And they know. Maybe they don't actually know. Maybe these companies don't realize how much of that information they're giving away.
And so, the company I worked for last year, they essentially had their own, AI assistant.
Like on their website.
Now it was integrated into Microsoft Teams.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so it was called GPT. So, yeah, so they discouraged people from using ChatGPT, of course, because of the fear of
training another AI model on the company's
data security.
Yes,
so
yes,
they didn't
yes.
want people essentially leaking company information,
which makes sense.
Yeah, and so they said, "Hey guys, here's this tool. Use this in-house tool. You can give it all the information you want, and it's also trained on a lot of the company's information. So
Cool.
it has,
Which is great. I'm glad that
It
they
is.
did that. That's quite innovative.
but everybody else,
Still ChatGPT.
brother, you just be leaking company. I know people be uploading sensitive documents and reports
Onto
on
ChatGPT.
I mean, it's obvious. We have deep research. People I know for a fact. People call it like, I know for a fact. I mean, think about it, Kgotso. You have deep research that can put together intense reports for you. You telling me people on
when your back is against the wall and your boss is
crunch
knocking.
time, deadline.
Of course,
Telling me
somebody
people
uses-
aren't taking reports or analytics or
with people's bank account details, just like very sensitive company information.
yo,
That's actually a great point that I haven't thought about yet.
so data security is actually
You see,
imagine
that's something that I would say is on the rise that AI might not necessarily be able to take over yet.
so imagine just the amounts of data that these
AI companies have.
collected. I mean, and then it makes you kind of understand the perspective of certain countries kind of banning certain
Yeah.
some of these AI models in
Yeah,
countries,
yeah.
like especially if there's some sort of geopolitical tension. Like, of course, if I'm the US and I know China's kind of a threat, I'm not gonna,
I'm not gonna allow what is the Chinese one? DeepSeek
yeah.
into my country if I know that it's gonna be giving American data. American company data off. You're actually so right. Jeez. And imagine like with Grok, because I know Grok recently beat ChatGPT, and this is what I was talking about last week.
Yo.
That there's going to be a new AI product that comes out every single week, claiming that they beat the previously beat one.
Wait, just bit of a segue.
Mm-hmm.
Which one of these AI models do you think has the best name?
Oh.
Because Grok is just actually a horrible name.
Grok sounds absolutely terrible. It sounds like they stopped
Sounds
halfway.
like a thing that looks like a frog.
Yeah, it sounds like they stopped halfway naming it, and they said,
Yeah.
let's it's fine there.
Yeah.
Grok, okay. There's Grok, ChatGPT, DeepSeek.
Hey, but DeepSeek is hard.
DeepSeek is hard. I really like that
That's
name.
fire, bro.
DeepSeek. What else is there? I
There's
saw there was like
Perplexity.
there's Perplexity. Perplexity is a bit of a cool name. I think, especially for what it can do, it sounds like it has some complication to it as well as in the name, so it kind of makes sense.
I like Google's names for all of their tools. So maybe Gemini, I mean, it could have been better, but DeepMind, Deep Vision,
Yeah.
I kind of
Notebook.
Notebook.
Okay, no, that one's not actually a great name. I'm lying.
No, I don't- yeah,
That's just
I
the
was
one I'm
thinking
thinking
about.
of. Yeah, there was like a whole list that I saw of all these different AI models that have come out recently, like that were listed alongside ChatGPT and all of it. And people are like, dude, this is crazy how quickly the AI race is moving. But it's the arms race. Here it is. Okay, so we have ChatGPT, we have DeepSeek, Gemini from Google, we have Meta AI, sucks. We have LeChat. I actually don't know what LeChat is yet.
Chat like Lasizwe.
I'll eChat.
Oh,
But I guess LeChat, Lasizwe type beat. We have Copilot. We have Claude.
Copilot is kind of cool.
It's a cool name. It sounds like an actual assistant. It's a Copilot.
You know what? Nah, it sounds cool, nah, but it does sound like it was named by a dinosaur company.
Yeah.
Copilot. Like it doesn't sound,
It was
doesn't have that
Microsoft, ne? Copilot.
Copilot. Like it's cool. Like conceptually, like okay, you're on Copilot because you got this kind of AI system. But it does sound.
It sounds backwards.
Yeah, it sounds like
low-key.
a boomer came up with it or something.
Type
like
beat. And I mean, that's Microsoft's product. I'm not surprised that they're the ones that would name it that. We have Claude. That's Google as well, right?
that. No.
Where is that from? Is that its own independent thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Claude, why do I always think it was associated with Google?
I don't know, man. This is the second time we're doing this. What do you know?
I feel like it's a part of, maybe I know
Some
things that
insider trade secrets
that I should not be saying. It's Perplexity. We have Grok. We have Kimi, the Chinese one that I mentioned, I think 2 weeks back.
Sounds like Kipi.
Yeah, I guess sure. That name, Kimi is not the one. We have one named Yu. And these are
it's
all
not the one, but what if it sounds hard in Chinese?
Kimi. Oh, they like, this
What
is
if
the
it's,
one.
Yeah, what if it's like for all our Chinese auditors, maybe pardon us for our ignorance.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it sounds crazy as fuck. Maybe it's some dragon deep secret mind thing. Like
And I can imagine like an Asian person actually pronouncing it. It sounds pretty cool. What do you think?
Pronounce it the way that pronounce it?
Kimi. I wonder, because I know there's these AI products coming out of China, which is Asia, the US, Europe. I don't know what's going on there. Africa.
Yeah.
I don't know what's coming out.
Guys, who is gonna be? I don't know, man. Like,
to have anything coming out of India,
probably
Bangladesh.
I mean, Silicon Valley is powered by India.
Ooh, you're so right. For how long?
Yeah, so there's probably actually maybe majority of these things
might be powered by. They might be building them in Bangladesh, in India, in all these Asian countries, and then straight to Silicon Valley.
Yeah, I know a lot of these companies did have outsourced. It's a lot of outsourcing of like Indian developers. Yeah, so man,
I wouldn't be surprised. And then the last 3 or 4, we have Hugging Chat, which I heard about recently. I want to actually explore that a lot more. We have Pi, which is just Pi. We have Chat LLM, and then we have Quen. It's like Gwen, but with a Q. Quen. So there's just all these AI models that are constantly being introduced. But yeah, before we get into the rest of it, my tech spotlights of the week. Ooh.
Let's go.
Okay, so we previously, when there was an episode where myself, Mpo, and Romeo had a Cyber Digest podcast episode, and this was when Sora just came out. It was on the day that Sora came out, and we were discussing it, all the different things, and it wasn't openly accessible to the public yet, but it has been accessible for some time now, and I've actually taken some time to start exploring it. And yesterday I started it. It was my first day, and I made a little AI movie that I want to play for you right now. Well, let's not call it a movie. Let's call it a trailer.
Okay.
All right. Call me a director. Call me a
Scorsese?
Martin Scorsese type beat. Yeah. So I'll put the link there under my spotlights on the doc. All right. Let's check that out real quick. So proud, man.
In a land blessed
shout
by the
out,
gods, beneath the watchful gaze of the Great Falls, 2 sisters were born, twin daughters of a mighty king and a queen, whose love rivaled even the sun's embrace. A prophecy whispered through the winds that these daughters, bound by blood and fate, would one day rule as one.
Crazy. The visuals are here.
Power,
They're so impressive, man.
monster, and love. Love does not always withstand the weight of ambition. Sister against sister. What was foretold as unity has become war. The battlefield, the sisters, now queens, stand at the head of the...
It is wild. My initial kind of idea of AI before this AI boom was, of course, AI, but in the sense of, robots and
that's what I thought
kind
so
of
as well.
AI. I didn't imagine AI kind of generating images and visuals and videos, like things that, we essentially haven't seen before. Because I mean, even VFX, it's not like VFX. You need artists they
to actually do VFX.
Yeah. So it's crazy. Like we having AI that's kind of recreating worlds that aren't even there. It's just.
I think that's the most fascinating thing about it, and I wonder if it was actually the intention for a lot of these companies to do that, or to first start with the way that we had initially thought it was going to be, building robots, things that would.
Yeah, because
like the industrial age, essentially improving on the industrial age as opposed to the artistic side of it.
I think a lot of people's idea of AI was always kind of this, a thing talking back to. But now,
like an assistant.
Yeah, but it's so much more. Like we're seeing, it's so much more. Like we're seeing tools do crazy things. And for instance, you can essentially make a movie and you didn't even have to roll a camera.
Exactly. Not a single camera was touched. So yeah, basically this is Sora, guys, and I know that a lot of you have heard of Sora. You guys have seen some Sora products, but I was quite blown away at how easy it is to use. All you have to do essentially is just describe what you are imagining, and it gives you either 5 seconds worth of feedback or 10 seconds worth of feedback. It gives you, in terms of quality, between 480, 720, and 1080p. And the more, obviously, the higher the quality, the more credits it takes. The longer the video, the higher the credits it takes as well. But what I like is that there's different features. You can merge one clip with another, make it like sort of transition very seamlessly from one scene to the next. There's also like scenes where essentially you can describe what each scene would look like at a specific timestamp, which is also quite interesting. So it's really blown me away, and this was really just day one. So I have seen and explored quite a lot of what AI artists are doing on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and they're doing some crazy stuff out there, man. Literal world building.
Animators.
What happens to them? If you can just type in, imagine, I can only imagine what a child using something like Sora, what they could create.
Yo.
Because a child's brain is like so filled with creativity and color
so
and characters. So if they can just, maybe I could be sitting with a child and they describe to me what they want their story to look like. Can you imagine what could be built?
Crazy.
Yeah, so this was pretty cool. Sora's great. But like I was saying, Google is doing some crazy stuff. I haven't explored their product yet, but Google VEO.
Oh, yeah.
And VO. The quality of their stuff that I've been seeing online is also...
Yeah. Apparently, it surpasses Sora.
Low key, I wouldn't even debate anybody that's saying that. I really wouldn't fight it.
Google is very good at just products.
They really are, and it feels like they're just pumping things out, and they're not scared to experiment. They're just constantly churning things out as much as possible. It's amazing what they're doing at Google. I know those people are working hard as hell.
Yeah, now they're probably somewhere locked.
Yeah, let's not allegedly. Yeah, I'm being worked to the bone.
They're right. Yo, so yeah, man. Wow.
Yeah, not some crazy stuff. What's happening at Microsoft? Let's move away from Google and Sora. What's happening at Microsoft?
Microsoft, the infamous Microsoft.
Tell us about it, Mr. Bill Gates.
Paul, whoever is watching this, he hates Microsoft.
Gritting his teeth.
But I mean, they came through with something quite interesting, especially something interesting for the gamers out there. So yeah, ChatGPT, but for video gaming.
ChatGPT for video gaming. Okay.
Yeah, so you've got an AGI model, but the AGI model is getting trained on. Okay, so let me explain.
Yeah, let's break it. Explain to me like I'm 5.
So it's basically so we're talking about Microsoft Muse AI. So it's basically a new technology that can learn how a video game works just by watching people play it. So in the sense that it watches the on-screen actions, so what's happening on the video game on screen, but also what's happening on the controller. So
like it tracks like a screen recording almost.
Yeah.
Type beat.
Yeah, so the controller inputs and also what's happening on screen.
Nice. Okay.
So that's just the data collection side. So Microsoft had this game called, what's it called? Bleed something.
Okay.
So basically they had a bunch of gamers play this 4 versus 4 game, a multiplayer game. And this game was played online. And with their consent, they used all of the data that they gathered from essentially this gaming experiment, and they fed it to an AGI model. So this was equivalent to 7 years worth of data collection.
That was trained on.
So it was studying gaming patterns, on-screen gaming patterns, controller input gaming patterns, everything a gamer would do. Essentially, everything. So from controller inputs to stylistically the way the gamer plays, the sequences, the actions, everything that happens on screen, but also everything that happens on the controller. So they fed that to an AGI model. So it was like teaching a computer to understand the rules and dynamics of a game, but without the computer looking at the actual code.
Okay.
So that was the teaching mechanism. So it's not looking at the code in the sense that it's using all that data collected to recreate different gaming environments, different gaming scenarios, different gaming sequences
within the same game.
Within the same game, but
Essentially, it's making
game.
a different game.
Yeah. So through the data it was fed, it was able to recreate a game, the same game, but through that also recreate different game. So a different game, different player sequences, different player environments, different gaming environments, different everything.
Shem, game developers, I'm so sorry.
It's crazy. So you're basically able to kind of feed the model MUSE AI an image, say a random screenshot of San Andreas, feed it that, and it can essentially recreate a game out of it. The same maybe looking kind of game, but it can recreate a new game with new sequences, with new possibilities.
You know what I think is cool about that is the fact that it probably has a really great understanding of what the user wants based on how it's playing the game, how the user's playing the game.
So that is the beauty of AI. I mean, it's 7 years worth of data collection. And so it can even predict what the player is going to do based on his controller inputs. So that is crazy. I mean, where does it even leave gaming to be? I mean, you can create a game without actually plugging in code.
Shucks.
I mean, I think any gaming developer will tell you how
hectic it is, how in depth it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, game development is no joke. Like, it's crazy, massive amounts of code, but just even the in-game logic, like, there's so much to consider. And so now you have an AI model that kind of understands this, understands the logic, understands the physics of the game,
and it's able to replicate it so much faster
just by looking even just at an image or just at a video of another game.
Yes.
You can even just stylistically, like, you can feed it essentially a picture of a game. So take Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So the art style, so you can essentially give it kind of
just
an image of that, and it can even recreate that art style, even give different art styles. Yeah.
No, this is absolutely insane. So it means that essentially if I could get my hands on a product like this, I could develop my own game within maybe a few weeks, if not less, and sell that out to people. Yeah,
so I think a huge thing about this, and what especially a lot of people that have been testing it, especially the prototypes, is people have been recreating like the old game. So you get Pac-Man and then they kind of feed it to MUSE AI and it recreates Pac-Man, but now kind of recreating new kind of levels, new kind of scenarios within the game, and kind of recapturing that nostalgic feel of other games or games that people didn't get to experience. And you kind of have Microsoft MUSE AI saying, hey, we can actually recreate something for you. You can actually be your own game developer. You can make your own game. So right now it's still, of course, early phase. I mean, as far as you can't play it in 1080p, but I mean, it's somewhere. It's a start.
And how do you think it could develop beyond just the gaming industry, this kind of technology?
You know, what's crazy is that when we reach we're gonna reach an intersection with all of this
AI stuff,
technological products, and then you're gonna have your Vision Pros with the Microsoft MUSE AI with your own recreated game with. So like the possibilities are endless, dude.
I wonder who the first company is going to be that merges all of this.
Hoping that people, when they get these, especially the goggles, and then the MUSE AI, that people don't become too freaky.
Okay,
leave it at that.
Let's not get too deep into that one.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
Because I see what some of you guys get up to.
Ready Player One, but more X-rated.
Yo, actually, I wonder if people will be doing that stuff with Sora, but it's fine.
I'm glad that there are actually limitations on what you can produce on Sora, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's people that can bypass that code and those firewalls and just start doing their own thing.
The Chinese have like their own. I imagine DeepSeek has like an image generation one, right?
They should have one. Yeah, they should have one.
Because I know hentai is like
a real big thing in China. Hey, you're even giving people ideas right now.
Yo, my bad.
Stay around, please.
I'm sorry.
Calm down. Do that after the video's ended, right?
Yeah. So basically, the AI analyzes the data to understand how the game works, including things like character movements, game physics, and how the game world, and changes in response to players' actions. So once Muse understands the game, it can actually create new gameplay sequences on its own, even generating visuals and predicting player actions.
Now, Microsoft, you guys are generally behind, but this is quite impressive.
Yeah.
I wonder what other companies, something that we do quite a lot on here is we always touch on the major players in the tech industry, but it's very rare that we actually start touching on like the smaller companies, the ones that aren't making as much of a noise. But I feel like there are one or two out there that are definitely making significant waves. But I think what you're talking about, this kind of technology that Muse and Microsoft has created, moving beyond just gaming, I'm thinking that like within these VR environments, a company like Twitter or like Elon Musk, the stuff that he's making are going to tie together very well, I think.
Yeah.
Social media, Twitter, the automotive industry, Tesla, SpaceX, whatever. What could we call it? Universal travel. All of these things are going to come together very, very well for a company like that, for a person like Elon Musk.
I don't know, man. I haven't seen him kind of.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Never count him out. But I haven't kind of seen this attempt yet at trying to create an ecosystem like the way other companies have.
Not yet.
Especially like Google. I mean, Google has.
Everything it's literally tied in together.
Dude, I mean, if you go on Google AI Studio or just the Vertex AI Cloud or whatever, everything is there.
It's listed. The list is actually long.
I even get so confused. I'm like, okay, the Vertex AI, Google AI Studio, then Gemini, and then all of them have this kind of AI system there that you can kind of use. So yeah, but with Elon, I look at Tesla, SpaceX, Twitter, and even XI is like kind of these very separate entities kind of floating around. I don't know. Me personally, I haven't seen anything that suggests maybe
would make it. I think
where they kind of intersect. I don't know.
I definitely see it. I definitely see it intersecting.
Yeah.
I definitely see it. Even if he hasn't blatantly said it or made it obvious that these things can sync with one another.
Yeah.
I think eventually, I can only imagine just two products alone. What X, Twitter, and maybe SpaceX or even Tesla being merged together, what that looks like.
Yeah.
With all the data that's being collected on Twitter, what that can do for Tesla and SpaceX together. And also now Mars, maybe, what do we call it? Intergalactic travel, universal travel, whatever it's going to be called. People traveling from Earth to Mars or to the moon or whatever the case is. Yeah. It's not very big yet because people are not migrating yet. Yeah. But can you imagine the data that they have from all these different companies? His ecosystem is essentially going to be on Mars.
Yeah.
If it's just SpaceX traveling to Mars, his entire ecosystem, he's going to have a boring company on Mars, social media on Mars, all of these things working together seamlessly on Mars.
And now that you actually mention it, I can see kind of this link between Grok and maybe say Tesla.
Yeah.
I mean, because Tesla essentially, they're working on autonomous cars, and so probably looking at a car that can have an AI assistant. If not,
that one's a given. If anything,
AI assistant.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That one's a given. That one's definitely a given. And then I think let's move on to our last story, just as we close up.
Before we touch upon the last story, actually,
sure.
Let's talk about, so I don't know if you guys remember, so last week one of my tech spotlights was Google Notebook LM.
Oh yeah, that was like week 1 actually. I think episode 1. Yeah,
damn, time flies.
I think that was episode 1.
So yeah, we've been playing around with it, and man, oh man.
Yeah, and I was doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I think we're at a point where that's where it's so good. Yeah, maybe we're not that important in general.
Yes. Hey, so essentially, just to like a run through that one, Google. Yeah, I'm very impressed with what Google's doing. So Google Notebook LM, right?
Yeah.
I think when we discussed it, when it was your tech spotlight a couple of weeks back, you touched on the fact that it's able to do some research for you, put all the documentation together, summarize it for you, which was all great stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty cute.
Yeah.
It's pretty cute, right? We've seen now, or at least I've actually taken the time to explore it.
Yeah.
And it essentially has the ability to create a podcast for you. based on whatever you give it. So you can give it a PDF document, you can give it a link to your website, you can give it a link to a YouTube video, you can give it a link to your textbooks at school, you can give it screenshots of whatever it is. You can literally give it any kind of data, and it's able to create a 2-person conversational podcast that sounds extremely realistic between a man and a woman. It sounds like they have chemistry, like they've known each other for years. They're able to make jokes. Like it's a bit crazy, and that's what we're talking about at the start of this episode, that what we're doing right now might potentially become obsolete because this AI is able to essentially summarize any kind of complex things, theories, whatever it is, into a digestible podcast episode.
So at that time, because I was kind of still new to it, I had this very basic understanding of it, that it's basically a good research tool to understand,
which it is.
Yeah, understand documents, research. But then when we kind of played around with it, it's basically a tool that is meant to turn kind of your whatever it is you're trying to whatever you're trying to upload or whatever, but it's basically an expert tool. You're basically trying to recreate an expert out of your documents and your sources, and so it's basically an incredible learning tool, very powerful learning tool that's tailored around whatever information that you essentially give it.
Yeah.
And it is just tailored to you, to suit you, to teach you, to break down anything. Like, so yeah, your documents basically become an expert. They speak to you.
Yeah. And I think it makes me like wonder why a child in school right now is not getting a minimum of 70%. Why are you not getting a minimum of 70% in 2025 if you are in primary school or high school? What are you doing?
Guys,
what are you doing?
Guys, when the matric results come out next year.
Yeah, I don't want to hear anything.
I'm expecting like 10% jump, bro.
I don't want to hear anything.
20%.
I don't want to hear. You have everything that you need. You don't even have to touch a physical textbook. Can I tell you that much? You don't have to touch a physical textbook.
Well, now.
You don't. Unless you're touching it to flip the page and take pictures of it to scan your book.
That's not...
Hey man, I am promoting technological advancement.
Actually, you're right.
In the world.
Work
and
smart.
Education. Work smart, not hard. Work smart, not hard. You just heard Wandile say that an hour and a half has been taken off of his work day.
Thank God.
And he's still getting great results, if not better results than before. I don't know. Maybe you're smarter than the AI. Let me not take that away from you. But if you can work that hard, or that smart rather, there should be a significant jump in your results. Come on, guys. Let's not play. Like, we had to get through school and matric the traditional way. Yo.
Brother, we didn't have any AI.
We didn't even know what AI was.
GPT, like ChatGPT, the chat assistant, so basic, but we didn't have that. That would have helped so much.
Even that would have skyrocketed results, 100%.
We had to sit with the text, like, oh my God,
and physically flip through, highlight, underline, memorize, recap. Guys, you can feed this thing your textbook, your notes, whatever it is. Get on the bus, I don't know, go to the mall, whatever, plug in your headphones and listen to your work just to get a better understanding of it.
And the great thing about it is that it's in a podcast format. So it's in a format, it actually should give them a listen, like just
let's go ahead. Let's give them a teaser.
Okay, so basically, I'm going to let you guys listen to... so I gave it an article. So basically with Notebook LM, you kind of give it a document, any kind of document, not even a document, could be a link to a web article. It could be a link to a YouTube video, any YouTube video that you can find. You can upload that, even just a random video, a document, any kind of document. And you basically upload this and it does all the nice nitty gritty AI stuff. And then it comes out with this beautiful thing that sounds like a great podcast. It sounds like you're listening to Kgotso and Wandile break down the thing that you're trying to understand. So
and if you're here right now, you're going to enjoy this.
Yeah. So let me actually,
Okay, so get this. Microsoft's trying to build a quantum chip, right? And it's going to have, get this, 1 million qubits. It's crazy ambitious.
Yeah.
And, that means we could solve problems that would just crush today's supercomputers. Like, it's a whole other level.
It is.
So we're checking out this YouTube video, right? From, it's called AI Revolution. And they don't they don't hold back on the hype.
Right.
It's like Microsoft shocked the world with first AI quantum chip that unlocks limitless power.
Yeah.
So, just a bit of context. So, I kind of gave it a link to a YouTube video by the AI Revolution. So, he's basically talking about Microsoft Majorana, a quantum leap with topological qubits. So, this is basically talking about Microsoft's recent development of a chip that is basically takes a huge leap in quantum computing. Yeah. So, they're using a new material called a superconductor. So, very complicated. I hardly even understand it.
But this thing gave us a great understanding of what that thing is.
Yeah. So this was like just an audio overview, you know. So it's very conversational. It feels like a podcast, and it's great conversation. And there's even an interactive mode.
This is the one that impressed me the most.
Oh yeah. Now this one. Let's actually test it out. Okay.
Microsoft's trying to build a quantum chip, right? And it's going to have, get this, 1 million qubits. 1 million, like it's crazy ambitious. Whoa, did someone just break the fourth wall? Let's hear it.
What exactly is qubits?
Oh, great question.
Yeah. Sorry about that. We got ahead of ourselves there.
No, I worry. Yeah. So qubits.
Yeah.
So instead of regular computers that use bits,
Right.
which are either a 0 or a 1, qubits, they can be 0, 1, or both at the same time.
It's what they call superposition.
Yeah.
And it's that both at the same time thing that gives quantum computers so much power.
And, if they could pull this off with like this new quantum computing, it could go from futuristic theory to real world impact.
What's fascinating?
Oh, yeah. Go on.
Okay, go ahead.
So what kind of technological advancements do you think this could lead to?
Oh, man, that's the $1 million question, right?
It is.
Okay, so the video touched on a few things.
Yeah.
But I think it's even bigger than what they mentioned.
Definitely.
Okay, so like one area of the video was materials science.
I think this is absolutely insane. So essentially, the traditional way of listening to podcasting might even be dead, because you might be listening to us explaining, I don't know, something from Apple or whatever it is, and you're like, wait, what is that thing?
Yeah.
You can't stop the podcast and ask us, because we're not going to hear you. We're not going to be able to respond. But now Google has essentially made podcasting interactive. You heard that person literally say, sounds like somebody's broken the fourth wall.
Bro,
it's like they're acknowledging that you're there. They understand your question.
And the nice thing about it is that you actually also just have, yes, you got the nice personality kind of conversational, but you have an expert.
Yeah.
You don't, listen, I'm not encouraging people to go and make podcasts and be uninformed, but, you can just have a research assistant.
Yeah.
You can have a ghost,
For your podcast, and it's just notebook.
You can host the podcast alone and have these two hosts, essentially.
Record that and put that up.
And you can be the funny personality and they can be the two.
Or you can be the inquisitive, knowing, and you could literally give it any kind of information on any complex subject matter.
Yeah, and then they can literally break it down in a nice conversational tone, and it's like you guys are speaking.
And what's crazy is, by the way, I was gonna say, Wandile is giving you guys some serious tools right now. You guys need to be tapped in. What's crazy about it is how natural it sounds.
Yeah, right.
It sounds so natural. Like someone could have sworn that you were on a video call or a phone call with somebody and they were interrupting you. And I think it really takes me back so much. And what I like about this is that I think you can even upload study notes, or it provides you with study notes, briefing documents, a timeline, frequently asked questions on the subject matter that you've given it. This is absolutely insane. The amount of information that Google, or maybe let me rather say value, that Google is giving us through these free products.
So guys, just imagine, like, you're trying to study. You're trying to really lock in and study and be informed on something. And man, we all know studying and listening to lecture notes, it's very tedious. Sometimes it could be quite quite very administrative. It feels very
It feels like
clerical.
you take more time trying to get around the admin of studying as opposed to actually like
it's not
digesting
as
information.
engaging. And we know sometimes you'd rather go watch, Marquez talk about phones and the latest 16E. And so this essentially puts that in that format. Like, it makes it so engaging. And yeah, you might think, well, it sounds like Siri. It's not.
This sounds real.
This is game changing.
This is game changing.
It's incredible.
I think maybe, I don't know, at the end of this year we'll have like a tech company award of the year or something. So far it's going to Google. I don't want to lie to you.
Yeah, because this is crazy, man. I mean, people can, you could be studying for a test and you just listen to a podcast and you're basically learning
everything.
You're learning accounting on your way to, a test. Then it's kind of breaking it down on such a. You heard me. I asked you, what's a qubit? I don't know what that is.
But now we know. It's ones and zeros.
So yeah, man, that's
That's so impressive, man. And yeah, let's guys, we always encourage you to go learn. We are always also learning ourselves. Yeah. We're still experimenting with these things, trying to figure out how these products work, how we can, have them work for us in our daily lives and improve our lives, maybe make us even more money,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the last thing that we can touch on is the 16E.
Yeah.
Let's go to Apple and touch on the 16E. Apple, you are underwhelming me every week. And you can't see that. I have so many of your products, guys, but please, you guys are underwhelming me every week.
Listen, man. Every year, I hope and I pray that they are going to do something. You know that meme of the guy poking dog with the stick? Like,
do something.
Every year, I'm hoping
That's Apple.
Apple does something. Every year, I'm disappointed.
My God.
First of all, listen, I understand the market segment. Budget-friendly phone. That's not a budget-friendly phone. Sorry.
Oh, they didn't even bother with the price this year to make it budget-friendly. They didn't even bother.
$599.
Yeah, no, they said it's fine.
My brother, can you please calculate that in South African rands?
$599.
Yes.
Let's see. That is approximately. Why am I searching this on YouTube? That's crazy. It's 11,000 South African rands.
In what world is that a budget-friendly phone? I'm trying to, okay, it's well justified if, of course, it lacks in certain features and certain hardware, in even certain processing power. If the price is low, I get. If it's a budget phone,
quote unquote,
yeah. It makes sense if it's not the same as your 16 or Pro.
Jeez, guys, sometimes things happen. We live in South Africa, and load shedding struck right at the end of our podcast.
So load shedding is a thing in South Africa. Essentially, our power providers essentially just cut the lights, and you have no power for maybe 2 to 4 hours.
Yeah. So that includes our cameras, our lighting. So if the episode did cut abruptly, we do apologize about that. But I think we got through the majority of our podcast.
We did.
I thought it was Steve Jobs, speaking beyond the grave.
We were about to we were actually touching on it. You think it was an elaborate scheme from Tim Cook?
Yeah.
And have cut the lights.
Cut the lights as they speak about our device.
Because we weren't happy. We're still not happy.
Yeah, we're still not happy. We still stand on the same point, whether we have lights or not. We're not happy with the 16E.
Huge scam. I mean, what's crazy is that the previous iPhone SE was $429.
So it's like a $200 jump now.
It is. And is it justified? Me thinks no.
Absolutely.
Adult.
And the fact that you were saying yesterday previously that they positioned it as an affordable model for the iPhone range.
We can't, I mean, the whole thing about the SE generation or the now 16, the E generation, as we call it, is that it's a budget-friendly phone.
Yeah.
So Apple kind of has this segment market where they produce budget-friendly phones. They can also just compete with other budget-friendly phones
and other brands in general.
Exactly. But how is a $599 phone a budget-friendly phone?
But what I like about it is that, I mean, it's not much more to like about it, but what I like about it is that it's somewhat of a smaller version of the 16. I would say it's maybe a step up from
the iPhone 11. So I'm looking at the stats in the comparison between the 11 and the 16E. Okay, the E, what does it stand for? We don't know. Apple hasn't disclosed either. I really don't know why they haven't just called it like an iPhone Air or something cool like that. iPhone Air or a mini or something, but E is not really making sense.
You know, it's crazy that the mini kind of just evaporated and never was a thing ever again. Like it was just.
But also, I think that's because they were basically they were putting like new guts into an old model.
I think also a lot of these big mobile companies are struggling with is they want to make kind of they want to make flagship phones, but that are kind of more budget orientated or don't have all the specs, but they too close to the entry level flagship. So
to the point where it doesn't really matter which one you get.
Exactly.
So you might as well get the entry level.
So if there's a 13 mini, it's too close to the actual 13.
Exactly.
So it's kind of weird and then you're going to launch the following year an SE. It doesn't actually make sense.
You think that's why it kind of died out, the SEs and the minis?
Yeah, because I mean, people aren't going to buy it. It's essentially maybe the same phone, but you have a better phone in the 13. You got a bigger battery, a bigger screen.
And I think maybe that's why they also released it after I think it was every 3 years they were releasing these minis or the SE models.
And I think
ones.
I think that's also what happened to Samsung with the Note series. I mean, it became redundant because essentially you had the S model, like the flagship S model, like the high point series,
phone.
that had essentially most of the hardware that the Note had, the software. So it was essentially kind of the same phone. The only thing that was different was the stylus. And so you're kind of wasting money then.
And it makes sense why they dropped them on Samsung side as well.
So you're saying I think the specs, you were talking about the specs.
Oh yeah, there are a couple of specs. I think what I was saying was it is somewhat quote unquote of a step up in comparison to their previous minis and SE models, in that it has a Type-C port, so they've completely let go of Lightning 100%.
That's crazy.
It's about time, but I mean, it's very late as well. I mean, as Apple normally does. Compared to the 11, like I'm saying, it's mostly just a step up from the 11. It also has the action button. That's on the new 16 and 15 Pro models. It also has I believe it has the camera. No, it doesn't have the camera button actually. Oh. So there's a new camera button that they've added on the right side of the phone beneath the lock button. Yeah. That allows you to sort of unlock it, and that this one doesn't have that. So I would say it's like it might as well be an iPhone 12 in my opinion, low key. Low key.
Yeah, listen, I guess, what we can say about it, is that it has the new A18 Bionic chip.
At least.
That's good. And they've also incorporated their new C1 modem.
Yes.
So they essentially they essentially want to stop relying on Qualcomm to produce their modem. So they want to produce their own modems
in-house.
Yeah. So, hey man, I mean, that's good. But for the consumer, it's not much of a difference for the everyday consumer.
Yeah, and I hate the way that they even try to brand it. I'm going to continue to say it. This is not an entry-level, affordable device at all.
I mean, the chip is good. I mean, but for me, the biggest
it is really powerful.
The biggest thing for me would be the screen. I mean, that's probably the most difference you're actually going to notice from these phones, because I think your average consumer isn't going to notice the amount of. They're not going to notice the efficiency and the speed of it. I mean, if you're using a lot of stuff, they kind of unless you're really paying attention or you actually are taking through, you will. But if you're an average consumer, you're not. And so I think the biggest difference would be that the OLED screen, which that's good. They stopped scamming consumers and having the very outdated, very rubbish screens. That's great. I'm glad.
So would you
happy for the guys that are willing to pay $5.99 for this?
I think there will be a bit of a market for it. It might be a small market. I don't know. But the people that are maybe weighing their options between maybe like a 14, a 15, and a 16, and they still want something that's the latest, quote unquote, they might go for this, unless maybe they care for something like the camera, or the specs. But I don't know who this device is for. The target market really is.
What I like about it is actually, as far as design goes, I don't know. I'm not such a huge fan of, I guess, all of these mobile companies having these phones with just like large camera modules with the 3 cameras. Listen, it's become necessary. I get like the telephoto, the wide camera and all of that. It's great.
To feel like a bit much.
It also looks ugly.
Yeah, 100%. I can't even.
This though looks clean. It looks vintage. It looks sleek. Like
The back is kind of reminding me of like a 6, maybe.
Yes.
And the front is looking like a 14.
Yeah, you know, so it looks
like
good.
15 build around the edges on the bezels, which I really like as well.
Yeah, so I think that's one thing that I actually like about the phone, but it is a scam.
Yeah. But hey, man, there's a market for it. We're happy for Apple that they're able to sell a couple of devices to whoever this is going to go to. If you're looking at investing into it, maybe don't take our opinion for it, but I would not.
You wouldn't?
No.
Yeah, well, we're trying to get sponsored, bro. We're trying to go to.
I think we've bashed Apple more than enough.
Yeah, actually.
But let us rather be honest. I wouldn't promote something that I don't think is a great product. But like I'm saying, there's definitely an audience, someone that does need this kind of,
especially if you're in South Africa looking for a budget-friendly phone. 11,000 rand isn't budget-friendly.
It's not budget at all in this economy.
I wouldn't buy it, and Kgotso wouldn't buy it.
I wouldn't buy it either.
And we are your trusted sources. So yeah, man.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. I think from us today.
It's been a jam-packed episode. I really did enjoy this episode so much. We explored so many different softwares, from Sora to.
Next week, I think we need to hop onto Google AI Studio where we talk to Sharon and
same way we did with what was it?
Notebook LM.
Yeah, it's Notebook LM.
Yeah.
We've explored a lot of products on this episode. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Next week we promise. I think we mentioned it on the live stream, but we promise to play around with Google AI Studio. Yeah, it's quite impressive the stuff that it's able to do. I think it can even help you with like lines of code and stuff, so not just research. Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for the next episode. I'm quite excited for that.
That will be dropping
a week,
the same time and same place, guys.
Same time, same place.
So yeah, guys, that's it from us. Please check out our previous video, check out this one, check out our live streams, man,
and also make sure to subscribe to this channel, but also to MRD Future Tech,
where we actually teach you guys
exactly
how to build AI systems
step by step.
AI systems like that can do anything. Agents, operators,
exactly
the whole gimmicks that OpenAI has.
The things that they're trying to do. It's not an operator. It's better than operator.
Yeah, we've been doing
to your needs.
We've been doing this. So yeah, guys, please tap in. Kgotso, myself, and Alicia. We teach you guys on how to just build simple AI automation systems. And yeah, man.
Yes, sir. Well, till the next time, you guys.
Peace.